Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Nerdy Girl. I promised that I will not make videos about this bullshit. About the nuts and the crazies. But unfortunately, I am. What's up with this asshole who shot up people and tried to shoot up his girlfriend who broke up with him at Mercy Hospital? What's up with this? This is insanity.
And if we tie those two elements together, the cell phone video and the video of the police vehicle riddled with bullets, that seems to sort of corroborate each other, at least according to Dennis Burke, the witness who shot that video, who stepped off a CTA bus here at 26th and Michigan. But we've been hearing from other people who are here just off the parking lot, just inside the lobby, describing just the multiple rounds of gunfire. One witness describing the weapon that was used by that gunman as a handgun. He thought it was a 9mm handgun. After initial reports suggested that this may have been a long gun, in fact, this witness, James Gray, that we talked to, said that he thought it was a handgun, and perhaps saw him reload at one point. But we've got some witness accounts that we want to play for you. I want you to listen in right now.
We heard about 20, 30 shots just coming from that direction. Saw a couple ambulances just scattered and people just running, so I was in my truck just trying to keep low so I wouldn't get hit with any shots in case there was a stray.
20 feet from where that shooting happened, we heard the gunshots from outside, and then we were told, like, run to the back, lock the doors, and our clinic is basically right there where they were shooting at. And we heard, like, I heard like several gunshots, like maybe 8 or 9. I heard first 3 pop, 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 then I heard the next 4 pop, 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 and next I heard, like, get down, everybody close the doors.
The gentleman started shooting at the squad car, so they backed up, and then after that, I was telling security to call for police to get more police here, and he came into the hospital and just started shooting people randomly.
Live picture right now from Chopper 7 high above the scene to give you a sense of what we're seeing here right now. Much of the perimeter of the hospital still cordoned off by authorities as they conduct their investigation here at Mercy Hospital. We are still being kept away, the public being kept away a fair amount of distance away from the hospital here, but just a few moments ago we did take a peek around the corner, and some of the warming buses that had been set up here for patients who were evacuated in the initial moments after the shooting. Some of those warming buses that were being used to house some of those patients have since emptied. Those buses are now empty, and so presumably those people who do need care have been brought back into the hospital to receive that very necessary care. But authorities, as you might imagine, they're going to be here for some time.
Chaos at Mercy Hospital. A gunman opening fire in the parking lot and then inside the hospital lobby.
4 people killed, including a Chicago police officer and a doctor headed into work at Mercy.
The workers and people inside that hospital scrambling for cover.
Pop, 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 pop. Shut the windows, let's go.
The I-team's looking into what led up to that shooting and the response.
Live team coverage starts right now.
A frantic scene outside of Chicago's Mercy Hospital. A gunman opening fire on a doctor in the parking lot and then storming inside and shooting again. Well, tonight that doctor and a Chicago police officer are among 4 people killed in that shooting. Mercy officials set to hold a news conference at any moment. We'll listen to that. We'll bring you any new information that we learn here.
Well, the body of Officer Samuel Jimenez was driven past his police station tonight on its way to the Cook County Medical Examiner, where he received a hero's tribute.
Witnesses, survivors inside Mercy Hospital describing the terror as that gunman opened fire.
And the I-team has now uncovered more about the shooter tonight.
All of this happening in the middle of the afternoon at Chicago's oldest hospital, Mercy Hospital in the Bronzeville neighborhood. And we have team coverage tonight. We'll start with investigative reporter Chuck Young, live at the hospital. Chuck.
Alan, Chicago's police superintendent tonight says he just simply isn't sure how much damage this gunman actually wanted to do. As it turned out, at the end of the day, the damage he did was more than enough.
The subject fired multiple shots at the officers before they could exit their squad car. The officers broadcast the police officer needs assistance.
call is a police officer's mayday. Here's how it unfolds just after 3:15. The I-team has learned that this man shows up here at a Mercy Hospital parking lot with a pistol in his waistband. 32-year-old JUAN Lopez confronts his ex-fiancée, Mercy Hospital emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill. This social media picture of the couple that was to have been married on October 27th until the engagement was broken off in September. Lopez fires numerous shots that strike his ex-fiancée, leaving her for dead in the parking lot.
And he was shooting at the police. Then he reloaded his gun and turned around and shot again because whoever it was must have been moaning or something, so I'm going to put you out your misery.
Then Lopez runs into the hospital, continuing the armed assault. That is when 2nd District Officer Samuel Jimenez and his partner hear the radio call and rush to the scene.
They ran towards their gunfire. So they weren't assigned to that particular call, but they went, because that's what we do.
Lopez now inside the hospital. An elevator door opens and he shoots and kills a pharmacy technician just going about her business. A SWAT team deployed almost immediately after it all starts breaches the hospital as the active shooter incident is underway, exchanging gunfire with Lopez. This officer's holster hit by a bullet, the slug lodging in his gun, saving him from being shot. But during the volley of gunfire, Patrolman Samuel Jimenez is not as fortunate. The man is just coming off his training probation to become a full-fledged officer, is shot and killed.
Please say a prayer for that police officer and his family and for those other victims.
During the gunfight with police, that shooter was shot and killed, although police officials tonight say they are not certain whether it was from a police gun or whether he took his own life. Reporting live from Mercy Hospital.
Who escaped injuries, some of them hunkered down inside the hospital as the shooter was storming inside. Our Eric Hong talked to some of them. Eric's live at Mercy Hospital tonight.
Alan, during the gunfire, as people ran for cover, hospital workers continued caring for patients, moving many of them to safety, even as their own lives were in danger. As bullets flew in the lobby, pharmacy workers huddled behind a locked door.
He was trying to get in the pharmacy at one point. He was jiggling on the door and tried to come in, and we was inside the office, but we could still hear that jiggling trying to come into the pharmacy.
Monique Hubbard and Jennifer Eldridge say the gunman tried to enter multiple times after shooting through the pharmacy window where co-worker Lenise Donaldson had been standing, but left to get a soda.
Blood was everywhere, and it was just, I mean, had I not went to go get the Pepsi, I would have been right in the window when it all happened.
Their terrifying ordeal among several accounts of survival as Mercy Hospital erupted in merciless gunfire.
I had to fall to my knees because it started instantly, like a battle, a gun battle.
James Gray says he witnessed the first victim get shot.
The gentleman turned around and shot 3 times in her chest. Then when she fell to the ground, he stood over and shot her 3 more times.
Back at the pharmacy, the gunman still trying to enter.
We were always trying to figure out our escape plan out of there if he was starting to come in, because you literally hear this man shooting outside, and you're worried. There's patients that were sitting in the lobby when he came in. You're worried about your coworkers.
This evening we spoke with a woman who says she was feet from the gunfire. She volunteered that she's a cancer survivor and told me that God has a plan for her. She survived cancer, and today she survived this. Live at Mercy Hospital.
Session for a fallen officer. Just moments ago, outside the Cook County morgue, officers saluting the casket of Officer Samuel Jimenez. He was an officer on the force for just 18 months and based in the 2nd District. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy is live at 51st and Wentworth, where Officer Samuel Jimenez worked. Liz.
Sheriff Officer Jimenez had just come off his training period probation in July to become a full City of Chicago police officer. Earlier tonight, a procession moved his body through the streets of the 2nd District that he served for just a few months.
Protect the City of Chicago. Dozens of officers stood at solemn attention. The ambulance carrying one of their own paused, and one by one they saluted the body of Officer Samuel Jimenez.
Today, the Fraternal Order of Police lost a valued brother, a courageous police officer who got up this morning, went to work, and wanted to protect the City of Chicago. He did just that.
but he did so with his life.
Officer Jimenez's life as a Chicago police officer was short-lived. He joined the force in February 2017. He'd been a full-fledged officer for just a few months, serving the city's 2nd police district on the south side.
There's been a lot of instances of shootings and killings when the police officers are there. They're there. So I want to be here.
His work meant something. Officer Samuel Jimenez responded to a shooting call that wasn't his. He went to work this morning in uniform. Today, he didn't come home to his wife and young children.
Every one of us will celebrate in a few days time with our family in the holiday. We have members of the Chicago family who in both this holiday and other milestones in their family will not be there.
Tomorrow morning, the flags at police stations around the city will be lowered, and the 2nd District
moved to that location more than half a century ago.
It's a level 2 trauma center, the main women's cancer center in the state. Mercy is also the hospital used by the Daley family. And back in 1912, former President Theodore Roosevelt was treated there after an attempted assassination.
Well, tonight we're at the start of her shift, as well as the pharmacy worker gunned down inside the hospital. Rob Elgis is joining us live tonight from the Media Center with what we know tonight about both of them. Rob.
Cheryl, we've learned more about another victim who was killed inside the hospital. We are told she was a pharmacist doing her clinical rotations at Mercy. Mercy just announced a few minutes ago she was 25 years old, planning to get married next summer. As you heard a few minutes ago, killed in the parking lot, Chicago police say, was Dr. Tamara O'Neill. Dr. O'Neill was an emergency room physician at Mercy. A family member tells us she was engaged to the shooter for about a year, but called off the wedding in September. Earlier tonight, relatives and friends of the other woman who was shot inside Mercy rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, you see there. This is where she was brought after the shooting on the near south side. A graduate of Purdue University, she was planning to go home to Indiana tomorrow to be with her family on Thanksgiving. She was also planning that June 2019 wedding with her fiance in Indiana. Her family and friends devastated by today's news. They've lost her at 25 years old.
Well, thank you so much. News story overnight, and our morning news team will...
Heartbroken, a city in mourning.
3 lives taken during a shooting rampage outside and inside Mercy Hospital. Tonight, we're hearing from family, friends, and co-workers of the victims.
The community where police officer Samuel Jimenez lived, coming together tonight to start raising money for his family as workers at Mercy are holding a vigil for their fallen co-workers just hours after reopening the emergency room there. Also tonight, our I-team's uncovering new details about the shooter's past.
We have team coverage tonight, and we begin with Eric Hong, who is live outside of Mercy Hospital. Eric.
Cheryl and Alan, 2 of the victims worked here at Mercy because they were committed to patient care on the south side. Their family members today remembering their lives of purpose.
24-year-old Dana Less understood the power of healing. As a teen, overcoming a headache disorder led her to a career in pharmacy.
She said, Dad, I don't want anybody to know, but I would do this for free.
Her heartbroken family in St. John, Indiana, says Les was no victim. She wrote a blog about her condition for others who are ill. In June, she was to marry her childhood sweetheart.
I was going to be giving a wedding speech instead of a eulogy.
In LaPorte, Indiana, another family in mourning.
I just wish this wasn't real. I wish this wasn't real.
The parents of Dr. Tamara O'Neill say they supported their daughter's decision to end her engagement to JUAN Lopez, but had little to say about the man who took her life.
She saw something in that relationship did not line up with
Charles, he gets the same way.
O'Neill worked in the Mercy Hospital ER, but never on Sundays when she led her church choir.
We knew Sundays that was where she was. She was at church in the choir.
O'Neill's friend, Dr. John Pirical, was on duty yesterday at the UFC ER, where O'Neill was brought after the shooting.
I recognized her right away and made it very difficult for me to help in any sort of meaningful way because I was just kind of in shock.
Tonight at Mercy Hospital, colleagues embracing O'Neill's legacy.
She was our sister. She wasn't just a doctor.
Tonight, the work of Mercy Hospital continues. Dana Less and Tamara O'Neill, honored by their colleagues through the care of their patients. Live at Mercy Hospital, Eric Hong.
The family of fallen police officer Samuel Jimenez, as the city and his family are now planning his memorial service. Our Liz Nagy is live.
Yeah, Alan, people who live here in Edison Park will tell you nearly every single person who lives here has some sort of personal connection to the Chicago Police Department. Tonight and still right now, there are people gathered in this bar and restaurant who've come together to comfort each other, to collect donations for the Jimenez family, and to decorate their streets in honor of their fallen officer.
Every few feet, there's a reminder of Officer Samuel Jimenez.
They save us. They're here for us.
Blue ribbons wrapped around fences and poles will guide the way for thousands of runners Thursday through the streets of Edison Park in an annual fundraiser for the Police Memorial Fund.
Every step they take, they're going to see a blue ribbon, and they're going to have a remembrance for Officer Jimenez and the sacrifice he made for the city of Chicago.
Before he was Officer Jimenez, people in Edison Park knew him as a hard-working boy with a dream.
And all he wanted to do was be an officer. That's all he ever wanted to do.
Just months after his life's dream came true,
We don't even have 2 years on the job, and next thing we know, Sam's gone.
Officer Samuel Jimenez died in a gunfight at Mercy Hospital, trying to stop a jilted man from claiming more lives in an angry rage.
That's Sam. When everyone's running away from gunfire, that's Sam running towards it to help somebody that's screaming and crying for help.
The flag at his 2nd District Police Station hangs at half-staff, and the streets of Edison Park are wrapped in blue for the man who always wanted to be a Chicago police officer.
Tonight, the Chicago Police Department has still not made any announcement about funeral arrangements for Officer Jimenez, but all of the money raised here tonight will be donated to his young children. Reporting live in Edison.
Well, the I-Team has been digging into the past of the man responsible for the hospital shooting yesterday. Rob Elvis here now with a look at what the I-Team...
The pistol under his pillow. That's what JUAN Lopez's ex-wife said, and she was so scared she obtained a court order of protection in 2014. And tonight we've learned Lopez legally purchased 4 guns in the past 5 years, including the 9mm used in yesterday's shooting. His first target in the parking lot, his former fiancée, Dr. Tamara O'Neill.
He came over there because they had broken off their engagement and he wanted his engagement ring back.
New details from Chicago police today began to reveal the motive behind a savage shooting that took 3 innocent lives. The I-Team also digging into JUAN Lopez's past, one that includes gun threats and a failed attempt at becoming a Chicago firefighter. Lopez, a DePaul University graduate student, was kicked out of academy training 4 years ago. A department spokesman says Lopez was accused of harassing female cadets. At the time of yesterday's attack at Mercy Hospital, he was working here at the Chicago Housing Authority in the Customer Care Center. In late 2014, court records show his ex-wife obtained a restraining order, alleging he pulled out his gun with intent to harm. Twice, she wrote. Once on a neighbor and once on a realtor. 3 years later, he's briefly engaged to Dr. Tamara O'Neill. The wedding scrapped last September.
So he came to the hospital yesterday and confronted the doctor out in the parking lot. Okay, she had a friend that was out there that actually witnessed the altercation.
Police say Dr. O'Neill was on the phone with 911 after she saw Lopez with a gun. Also, the medical examiner says the shooter was hit in the abdomen by police during a firefight.
You know, this is what I've been doing about the videos about these people. Well, they're all men. I'm not trying to be a female chauvinist here. It's just that a man that keeps a gun underneath his bed, a man who has a history of threats with gun violence, a man who had an order of protection against him from a former wife. I mean, isn't this a red flag? Isn't this a reason a person who made violent threats, a person who had gun violations, a person who got kicked out of the fire department, a person who has a history of being very violent, very aggressive. I mean, isn't this a red flag that we should maybe, at least, if we don't take the guns away from this person, at least pull him over for psychological evaluation? I mean, my God, what is this country coming to? And then right after this incident, the next day after, there's a shooting of another police officer on the south side, but he's saved by his bulletproof vest. I'm not even going to go into that story. But this guy has a history, a long, violent history, and we just looked the other way. This was a powder keg. This guy was a misfit. He's a crazy, and this violence was bound to happen sooner or later. Once again, I'm sounding like a broken record. What we really need to do is we need a registry for these people. We need to take these individuals and put them in a registry and have them turn in their guns. Every time a gun is purchased, it has to be registered. Maybe we should install GPS in guns so that we can know the location of the guns. But the solution is not to take the guns away from the public. We need our guns to defend ourselves. The problem is not with the Second Amendment. The problem is, well, a gun is like this white truck. It's a lethal weapon. But the thing is, I mean, you can use a vehicle to kill somebody with, but vehicles have to be licensed, they have to be registered, and they have to be insured, and you got to go through driver's education to learn to operate a vehicle. Why can't we do the same thing with guns? I mean, this violence at Mercy Hospital, with 4 people dead. A pharmacy technician, a young pharmacy technician, a woman doctor, a police officer who just started in the police force. His family's ruined. Their holidays are ruined. This is uncalled for. I call you people in YouTube land, talk to your congressmen, talk to your senators to do something about this. We need a registry for these nuts and these crazies. We need to psychologically evaluate them. We need to inspect them, and we need to have the police at their door to saying, hey, you know, look, we're doing a routine inspection. We see you have a violent history. If I were to have my way, if I was a legislator, I would have their guns taken away. I would have their guns taken away. Now, of course, that's not going to stop them from getting guns on the black market. But this guy had a legal permit to carry a gun. And he killed his old fiance in a fit of rage. Now, I don't mind that he died. The only thing I'm afraid for him is I hope he repented before he died, which I don't think he did. I'm not sure. That's between him and God, but I surely hope that he repented. At any rate, I'm tired of talking about this subject. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe down below. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching.